Welcome to the second match of the third week of the 28th Grand Arena season, and we're playing against Staff Decks Isa Brock, who called themselves Isa Brock before, and who used to be among the top 10, so very good player with over 11 million GP, and there for more. So great opponent and a fun defense, as we will see here, especially in the south wall. And so at this point I already knew it was a dicey matchup. So I started with a dicey battle, which was Vampire against Starkiller. I've played it 3 times now, or 2 times. Always won, but this is the time I'm going to lose. And the reason for that is not that I'm debuffed like to the max here, but not only now, but here there are counters. So the counter chance really is important. As you can see, there are no counters from Vampire, and usually would have countered, there would be more dots, so the team would kill themselves. And here I potentially also made a mistake. I should have maybe used the special here instead of the basic on Starkiller. And so, yeah, eventually they rolled over me, and so I started with a loss, and I already knew, like, at this point, this battle might be over, or this match, because I knew I would play to very efficient to have a chance. So I went into let's try things mode, and just to try to enjoy the ride while we're here. And so I played for the first time ever, like that I play this counter. I guess it's common among some players. CLS with the droid bros, how I call them, against GAC. And disclaimer, my CLS team isn't perfectly modded for that. Ideally, you want to have a high protection, high tenacity, and kind of good speed on CLS. I didn't do that kind of remodding for mine. I just went with the mods I had because they're tenacity stacked, but I don't have crit avoidance, for instance, which you also want to have, and I only have like 300 something speed. But anyway, so I still went for it. What the worst can happen, I could lose, and so I tried it, and as you can see, it's quite nice. I went for Rex first, and so ignored sacrifice, just like, okay, let's kill Rex twice. And then, just went for gas, and it kind of worked. CLS died along the way, as you've seen, or as you can see, but still, the synergy between those 3 characters is just amazing. So it's quite a decent counter, and I think you can get away with it even with better banners if you mod the team right. You want to have full tenacity and could avoid on the GPO as well. Then versus Ray, I played Starkiller with the team I prefer over EP Mara. The sole reason I prefer this team is ability blocks and a taunt, essentially, which can be damage immune, which is just now in this case. And Mace also has ability blocks, can swap turns, and all these kind of things. Call to assist. And so I prefer this team. You don't have this like Terminator engine, quote unquote, but you have more control, and as I said, here you will take the Whirlwind. If you would have played EP Mara, you would have either stacked the tunes with a lot of like protection to get away with this, or you just are then there just with 1 tune less, and so the tank just works fine, I guess. And yeah, we took out our friend Hoda before he could pass out a Master's Training, which was nice. Then, of course, eventually Ray will end up in the ultimate. You cannot avoid it, and it's fine because of the bonuses you get from Starkiller. You still can survive it. At the same time, you want to make sure you get ability blocks here with a dodge. So, unfortunately, I couldn't get landed ability blocks, so I lost a tank. Still get to my ultimate. I had it before, but didn't use it yet. And now second whirlwind because ultimate didn't take out our friend Holo. And then Ray is like, let's punish you, Starkiller, but Starkiller is jokes on you, I'm countering you to death, and that's what happened here. So, lucky win. If Ray went for Starkiller with the second whirlwind would have been over, but she didn't, so I take it. Then I had kind of a brain fart moment in this matchup. Kind of was stupid. I had several ideas how to take on Maul, but then I decided to just use Chewie and Han and Wedge, but it was a mistake. Shouldn't have done that. I kind of played it wrong as well, but anyway, it is what it is. So I went in with JKL, Barris, Shark T. Usually Barris is kind of a guarantee with small, at least in 5s. because her unique just with all the assists you have like from the Mandalorians, just her unique makes it so that you cannot die really, except you die through like the 2 damage from Maul. But usually the assists just heal up the target, and so it's fine. But in this case, because there were no assists, he went all out on her, on Barriss, and so she died. But it was too late for the match to matter, so it was not a good, but at least a kind of okayish cleanup. Then I went back into the fight against the Starkiller team and tried it with Maul, and my target was just to take out Starkiller here, or at least one of the Era characters. Didn't really matter, but I focused on Starkiller. And I think this is a kind of okayish team. You kind of want to have Candaris fast because he doesn't gain as much turn meter in freeze, especially when he's the only one to assist. But once you have the 5 stacks from Maul and there's no Barriers or nothing else, or no tank, it's pretty easy to take out Starkiller. And I almost had Mara as well. Then the fight would have been over because I think EP himself wouldn't have stand a chance. But with the help of Mara, it's a different battle. Then she's the star here. She just helps him to stay alive. And so it was unfortunate, but at least Starkiller was out, and so it was an easy cleanup. And I took in just leftover separatists, so to say. And I used Django here under Dukuli because I wanted to damage Unity, just to guarantee that he will get out at least a rocket or something. Then Droideka nuked Mara, and Django did the same to EP. So okayish cleanup. And then there was, I think it was the last team in the bottom wall. It was this kind of leftover Shark team. It's still something you don't want to underestimate. Damage from Arc is not to underestimate, and also like the synergies between clones and Shark Arc. Yeah, that's what they're made for. At first I thought maybe I should take in Inquisitors, like the 5th Brother lead, to try it out in freeze. Problem was I only had 8 Brother left, and I think 2nd Sister and 7th Sister. 9th Sister was on defense, and I think I would need her for that. So I was a little bit like, I want to try things, but I don't want to try too stupid things, so I didn't do it and just like went, hey, maybe Padma is alright, I don't need anything else. But maybe also should have done it, just to see what happens, right? Because I think 5th Brother is overall the best lead from the Inquisitors so far, except certain team comps. But for that, he's amazing. Also in the last Grand Arena, what is it called? Galactic Challenge, whatever. Given I have relicked Inquisitors, but it was just an easy battle with 5th Brother lead, so he's quite good, I think. Anyway, rambled too much here, so sorry for that. I'm a bit all over the place because it was a weird match for me. Just trying things, or just like knowing that like what the first battle already, the loss put me under so much pressure that I already kind of knew that this was a lost cause, but I just wanted to see anyway how far I can get and just try things and see what happens. Then I went to the North Wall and played again like Fridian against this team, against CLS. It's I think I played it like 5 times, 6 times maybe now, I don't know exactly. No, 6 times not, maybe 5 times. But it's pretty simple once you have the mechanics. And I think also this team would do very well on defense. Maybe it's something I should try, but at the same time it's a very steep investment for a defensive team. Like Gideon, Thrawn, they are both plug and play, and putting 2 plug and play characters on a team just to see how good it might work on defense might be a little bit too steep. But at the same time, again, you put other teams on defense that are great as well, so why not trying it? Maybe I do that like next week, or maybe the 3rd round of this week. We'll see. My Gideon is decently fast, like 380. My Thrawn right now is like 330 something. Want to get him faster again. But mods, it's always a question of what to prioritize, especially for freeze. It's for 5s as well, but in freeze it's always like who should be the fastest in my roster and who doesn't need the speed. Answer is everyone needs the speed, so you just have to go with what you have. But seriously, like on a more serious note, for 5s to 3s, I could essentially remod my whole roster, because all the speed investment I have for 5s isn't really necessary or viable for 3s. So you could spend 500,000 credits or so just on remodding, but that I don't do. And to be honest, throughout this whole season, I didn't scout any of my opponents once. I was just like, just wing it. I don't want to feel the pressure. And that's why I'm not in top 20 anymore. Because I don't want to like sit there for 5 hours and look what my opponent did in the past week and whatever. Who cares? It's a game in the end, right? And then I went in against this team. It was so fun. I forgot that the lead of Sorty gives like 35 extra speed, and so it wasn't fast enough, and so it was just like I go in and they go out, but like more in a dev sense of things of going out. So it was fun. Wasted a team there, and when it happened, I was like sitting there laughing because I was just so stupid not knowing about the lead. And yeah, new characters, you still have to learn. I only knew she gets 40 speed when she's just with droids, and I think I'm faster, but then I forgot about the extra 35. Anyway, this is quite an interesting team. Dooku kind of has a revive here due to what's-her-face, Talon. Or does he? Or is it only with Sith? I don't know exactly. Anyway, I took him out first. But yeah, Nest always is annoying. So again, here we have like 2 main hit targets and 1 is mostly stealth. Dooku is annoying with counterattacks and shocks and whatever. And Nest is also annoying, but this Nest wasn't like tenacity stacked, so she's not as annoying. You can stun her, you can keep her under control, or you can take her out. And then Talon was left. I think she isn't really a threat without her Omicron and without Traya. She doesn't do much, I think. She's still nice for utility, don't get me wrong, but I think especially in Grand Arena you want her with Traya. Or Cyan. Yeah, so 57 here. Then there was this interesting Mace lead team with Barris and Cam, which I think can be annoying, but wasn't really here because it's just like trooper food. But then again, it's an investment to take in troopers, even though they're not as good in 3s as they are in 5s. There are some characters, especially Piet, who might be plug and play for other teams as well. So it's a steep investment. Then I wanted to see how Bam would do against Iden Versio, because I think in 5s it's a good counter, but in 3s I'm not so sure. So I just tried it, but it didn't feel very well. Especially when Iden is offense stacked. I didn't really check the mods on this Iden specifically, but I think she was more on the offensive side. So I could have used Swampert here, but yeah, as you've seen, I used Swampert somewhere else already. But yeah, Iden is just a menace. Like her offensive output is just too good. Also by herself. Sometimes when she's left alone, she's still a menace. She does like over 100k basics. Like when you combine all the hits. It's really good. Also here non-crits and 18,000 something on our friend Quill. Yeah, and then at this point it already was over. So I played it wrong, I guess, but I also like had no like indications from past experience, so I just like tried to wing it and didn't go well, which was okay. You learn. Also here, like she's just such a great character. She might be like, sometimes I'm just like when like when you have relic stuff stacked for relic 9. Should I do relic 9 on Iden? Maybe that would be nice. Because right now a lot of people I faced. Oh, by the way, Isa Brock had like I think 18 relic 9 characters. No, and my next opponent has 17 or something. So that's quite crazy when you think about it. And they're mostly on tanks, except some things like GLs or gas or other main damage dealers. But like Maul or I think Starkiller, this was only Relic 8, I think. Anyway, I'm derailing. What I wanted to say is like most Relic 9s I put actually on attackers, because I think, let's say, Relic 10 will be more beneficial for attackers than I have to Relic 9 them anyway, and so I just like might go with that. So I'm derailing too much, sorry. Should focus on this match. So I lost Treya, but still, Cyan and Nihilus are capable of doing that by themselves. And finish this off. Like, again, a cleanup and not good banners, but still, just, it's for fun, right? Back to the relics. At some point, I just make maybe a video which characters I have relic 9 on and why I did that. So back to the game. In this match, this Forced also is relic 9. And here, usually this is a good matchup for Geos, but in this case, the team was just too well modded, as you would expect from such an opponent, and so it was, yeah, a little bit dicey, and so I lost all my Geos without killing anyone. And yeah, unfortunately, but that's when mods and relics come into play. Then went back to Sorry, trying to see what Night Sisters can do, so maybe that's a thing, but I don't have a zombie available, so I have to just wing it again. Here made a mistake, didn't try the basic, but just like fat fingered on the special for Darka, which was a bit unfortunate, but anyway. Just trying to spread Blake a little bit, but at the same time it's a bit useless because they're healing passively. But at least got out T3, but then they took out all the other Night Sisters, and I was like, just keep on basicking here. Maybe I can bring them back. Maybe with lucky shot I get Darka back, and then I potentially could have revived Talzin, and then it would have been okay, but didn't happen, so another loss. And so eventually I went in with this team with Mon Mothma, which I should have maybe tried from the get-go, because it felt quite good. Again, this is like quote-unquote turn meter variation of Mon Mothma in freeze. It's not about manipulating turn meter of the enemy, but more like gaining turn meter on your side, so you POW and Scout. Scout is mainly modded on my end for crit chance and speed, and POW, I think I have offense modded in with some tenacity and whatever felt good at that moment. I think offense is fine. And yeah, as you can see, they kind of, yeah, you have a lot of control to the DM gain. Of course, you have a bit of a problem because our friend Sorry, still have to get used to that name, is a little bit like a beefy girl, and you have also the passive healing from T3. You also have no access to T3 because it is under stealth, and so you just have to wait a little bit until you can promote your trooper a bit and get a better access to actual damage, because eventually what you will do, you just like go under the protection and then just kill Sorry by that. As you can see here, she still has bonus protection, but and she still can heal, but now you're hitting under the protection, and bit by bit you whittle her down. So Mon Mothma again, a lot of people just put her on defense because I'm not sure they think she's not good for anything or so, but I think she's a great offensive team in both 5s and 3s. In 3s you can take a lot of annoying teams, but also such teams. You have a lot of control still, even though it's just like 2 characters plus a summoned one. And in 5s you can clean up a Lord Vader very easily. Potentially for very weak Lord Vader teams even like do it one shot, but I haven't a chance to try that yet. So yeah, eventually Sorry was gone, and then it was just a matter of time before T3 would follow. So 26 banners because I played around with the food, but it was okay. Then we're going to the back wall of the south wall, and what we're seeing here is an interesting Qui-Gon Jinn team, which without Cam, so less danger, quote unquote, but still dangerous, because Annie still gets like the full bonuses, so you want to have him stunned before you attack Qui-Gon, who was taken out here. But then, yeah, it was a bit unfortunate because our friend Yoda comes in and just like spreads foresight. Then by accident I didn't switch targets, so that should have gone on Anakin. So he has the pleasure of killing Echo and almost like Tech and Hunter. And Hunter is just hanging on by a thread, so I pass the turn, I heal him up, attack our friend Anakin, then still I can heal up further by the special from Hunter, and then just trying to take out GMY. So it's a tricky battle for Bad Batch. Things have to go well, or you have to play a little bit around Qui-Gon Jinn before you can get to the kills, but even then it's dangerous, so it was okay with having 52 here. When you played very well, you can of course get full banners, but didn't happen. So then, as a cleanup for this preloaded team, I took in Rey and her friends, so they already took out Finn, which is so kind of funny. Like sometimes you have like Relic 7 characters and they're kind of decently modded, but still only have like 100k hit points or something, and they just fall like flies. It's sometimes not even funny. So yeah, but that's what tanks are for there. But our tank in this matchup doesn't do her job, so that's why Finn had to die. But still, I got out our friend Red Tuber, who has such weird nicknames as well, like I will say them now, but the color red might give it away. And then it's just a matter of taking out Faust. Again, Relic 9, so he was quite beefy, but eventually it doesn't really matter, because you have days, you have ability block, you have stun, so that's okay, but still, you always look at this roster and see, oh, Relic 9 something, and it's like, not too bad, maybe I should do that too. But then you don't, right? So, and then versus this Dash team from the back wall, I just used my Qui-Gon team because I had no other use for it. Then the other two teams that were left on the south wall were two Galactic Legend, namely JML and JMK. And I was kind of mad at this, not because they were there, but mad because I didn't have Maul left. Because I would have loved to play Maul versus JMK here, because it's something that could work in Freeze, like just single Maul. But not single by himself, but like no Lord Vader or something. I was a little bit mad at myself for wasting Maul on the front, but then again, it was okay. I've sped this up because I had no hopes of clearing this, because I had no good teams left. So just like getting Aflux out of the way. Then I went in with EP Mara. Didn't do much, of course, because Relic 9 is just too strong. Just a few assists and all your characters are gone. I think it's almost 100k2 damage they are doing. So that was unfortunate. At least I came close to killing Jolie here, but then again didn't really happen. So also that team was a waste. And then I went in with the Inquisitors I had. I thought I should do something here, and here I used 7th Sleep because she gives evasion a little bit, 16% or something. Yeah, but anyway, then we're in, I think it's the last character battle I take, which is Lord Vader against this team. If there was GK, I wouldn't try more, but if with any other tank, I would try. But yeah, I didn't have Maul, I didn't have Piet, otherwise it would have been such an easy battle. So single, like, versus JMK Cat, Lord Vader is not good. I mean, he didn't have good sides with Crew or like Ninth Sister and Royal Guard, it might be fine. But 8th Brother is under stealth, So I shook myself in the foot here with putting him in because he was like, hey, I'm under stealth, please attack Lord Vader the whole time. And that's usually the last condition. If they go all out on Lord Vader, you usually will lose. If you have tanks to distract, it usually can work well. The other thing that also is a little bit like of an annoyance with those Lord Vader JMK matchups. Lord Vader just ramps up, so he is amazing. The problem is sometimes the turns don't line up, or like the speeds are weird. So then it's because there is no speed manipulation, like no TM manipulation. You just rely on the basic speeds, and sometimes it can mean so throughout the match that when there's a difference, that at some point you kind of get one turn behind, so to say, and then suddenly JMK can like heal up the whole team, and you're like, oh man, I had them so close to death, why did you do that? And then you just like by yourself, and yeah, anyway. So lost there, gave up on clearing the back wall, and went into fleets. There was an Executor and what was it? Malevolence and I think an Empire fleet. So versus Executor, I went back to my usual bullshit and used Finalizer. And again, as you can see, my Echelon is on the verge of dying and was gone. So felt like, okay, that can be rough, but it was still okay. Took out Xanadu here, so no problem here. Then gave a little bit of turn meter before doing something stupid. Called then the Special Forces just to get stun and ability block on Hound's Tooth, which I think I get both. Yeah. Then our friend Slave 1 used to come in, but it didn't, so it came in Sith Medora. The bomber, the Sith bomber, which was a bit of annoying because you have days suddenly on your side, and it was like, this doesn't look very good. But I was like, okay, doesn't matter, just push through and take out the bomber because he will be annoying. Buffed our friend TIE Silencer, took out the bomber, dodged here, luckily. Then called in Ebonhawk for buff immunity, which landed. Then came in Slave 1, got ability block on my Silencer, but it still could land stun on Hound's Tooth because the turn meter was above 50%. Then Hound's Tooth is close to dying and didn't die here. It was just 2 damage. Did I see that right? It was so weird. What was that? Is this a bug? Is this just fantasy? Is this real life? I don't know. And then took out Slave 1. And yeah, Razor Crest killed my Special Forces TIE, but still my engine is there, my damage dealer is there, another ship is there. That's okay. Doesn't feel too bad. So then IG-2000 came in, then the Finalizer kicked in, so I got a turn before the reinforcement could take its turn. So took it out before it could do anything, which was super fun. And then I lost my engine, but still had my damage dealer, and so it wasn't eventually a very messy but still fun match versus Executor. Bad banners, but one shot and kind of funny in a way. Then versus Malevolence, I used Negotiator, and this was a weird match because it felt like I had so many turns before Malevolence just did something. Usually I always felt like, hey, shouldn't there be reinforcement or something coming, or shouldn't they take a turn? Not now, but like, I don't know, it was just weird. Wasted big hit, but at least now I would have expected that something happens, or here. I can call a reinforcement but before they do anything. What's going on here? They eventually got a turn, and I stayed on target, meaning I stayed on Bomber as much as I could because he's annoying. Then got to my ultimate so fast. It was so weird, I was so confused. I'm not used to that. Then they brought in Spy, And now unfortunately I take out too many of the sides, which is never good, but yeah, can get my unending loyalty out, so that's okay. So Plo, you can die now and come back. But of course Spy is in stealth, I cannot do much against them, and so I have to wait. Mass Assist just to get a clear target on Spy, that was the idea here. And then taking him out or them for 71 banners. Okay banners, but such a weird match. Talking about weird matches, this one was so funny because it could have been over like right at the beginning. So I put that thingy on Raider, then Mass Assist on the Bomber, Call to Assist on the Bomber, got him quite low, and so I was like, maybe I should try this and do here AoE and then assist here. And if Raider would have been a little bit lower before, it would have been over this match. It was so funny, but also so sad because then I was like a little bit like distracted by the whole thing, and so I played it wrong. I could have called a reinforcement here, which I should have done, but I didn't. But yeah, then there was a bit of bad RNG because I didn't get my second shot from Kenru, otherwise Interceptor would have been out already, so that was annoying. Eventually get Interceptor out, but here instead of just playing it safe and calling the reinforcement, doing something useful, I just like used the basic. And so I was like, okay, getting a bit dicey here because the ultimate from Thrawn isn't too far away and it can like under some circumstances take out my whole fleet. So do I want that, yes or no? And I was like, maybe I should bring in something. Brought in IG-2000, stunned our friend EP, and then IG-2000 was gone. I guess they targeted this ship because it was the highest on health and protection, I guess, like full, essentially, and so they used that. Then I got my ultimate and got only like embarrassing 65 banners. It was so bad. And it was the bad ending for like overall like an interesting match, which I lost of course. So thanks for watching and until next time.